Hello everyone, welcome back to Luke's Movie Talk, where I go over some of the most recent movies I've been watching. And for this video, we're looking at one of the newest Disney Pixar movies, Turning Red, which they released on Disney Plus last year. Just before I get into that, I uploaded a review for the new Avatar movie, Avatar The Way of Water, so if you're interested, go give that a watch. And make sure to like, subscribe to keep up to date with all future uploads. Okay, so let's quickly go over the plot of Turning Red. Okay, so the main plot of this film is that this young girl called, I think it's Maylin Lee, who's this Chinese-Canadian student. She's 13. She lives in a temple house combo with her parents, and they go over how her family is related to this very old Chinese myth of their family being related to red pandas, and how the guardian spirit of their family is a red panda, and that's their whole kind of religion they bring over from China. We basically spend a lot of the movie going over May's life and her connections with her friends and family, and then at some point we find out that May is actually able to turn into a red panda when she's emotionally unstable, like she's angry or really upset or really happy. She just poofs into a big red panda, and throughout the film we find out it's kind of like a gift or a curse that her family was given, and all the females in the family can turn into big red pandas. And at first off, May's a bit apprehensive about it. She doesn't like being this big red panda because she thinks she's ugly and smells of a of a panda. But over the course of the film, she starts to embrace it a lot more, using it to make money, to go to a concert as she wants to, and she starts to think of it as part of her normal life. And then over the film, her family tried to get her to push it away, to seal it away inside of a gem necklace, like they all have done, but she ends up saying no to that. And towards the end of the film, she goes to the concert, accepting her red panda, and her mother basically turns into this giant 100-foot tall red panda, and they have almost like a dance fight off in the end. All the other aunties and the grandmother all turn into red pandas to try and subdue the mother, who's just gone berserk after having an argument with May. They all end up sealing away their red pandas again, except for May, who has now embraced her red panda and now thinks of it as just an extension of herself. And it's a lovely story of how families can sometimes argue, but at the end of the day, they always come to a conclusion where they all love each other and support each other. But yeah, I love this film overall. It's visually stunning, with the usual great Pixar animation with some added flair. So it's the usual great stuff you would imagine from a Pixar, but a lot more facial expressions, stuff like the eyes, and a lot more smirky grins and stuff. There's a lot more added flair to the standard Pixar stuff, which is great to see. The entire voice cast does an amazing job, from showing an actual teenage conversation to how families speak to each other, the good and the bad. So a lot of films you see these really flat, not realistic teenage conversations. Teenagers are very gruesome and grotesque, and they're not really held back in the way they talk about things. These girls are pretty much saying, oh, all these boys are hot, and they love just speaking very crudely about them. It's quite funny. And then they show how the families actually speak to each other. They're not perfect. They're not like standard families. Like the daughter's very held back around her mother, and the mother's very strict with her. We see how families actually are with each other sometimes, and we realise that our families can be like that too. And it's a lesson that we can all learn throughout this film, where people need to open up a bit more with their family. May's friend group, Miriam, Priya, and Abby, are amazing, and the standard for what friends should be like: supportive and there for you when you need them the most. So all of her friends, they find out she's a red panda. They're not freaked out by it. They're a bit surprised, but they support her and try and do the best for her and try and help her out every way possible, even when May's a bit apprehensive about, I don't know, getting involved with the red panda and her mother getting involved and all that stuff. Her friends are always going to be there for her, and that's what friends should be like. May's father, Jin, was chill and relaxed and just wanted May to enjoy her life, showing understanding and supporting her. So every time he gets involved, he sees the camera that they recorded all their shenanigans on, and he shows it to her, and he's like, why don't you be like that more often? Because it's nice to see you be happy. So he's supportive of her. He wants her to just be happy, enjoy life. And he's not always just trying to go, oh, this is the way you should act. He wants his daughter to be happy-go-lucky and free to do what she wants, which is lovely to see. I love the mythology around the red panda and May's family. So they go over how their ancestor made a deal with the gods so she could protect her family, and now it's been passed down generation to generation, and they see more of it as a curse now because it doesn't really work in the modern day. But May is one of the only people in the lineage that has come to accept the red panda, and it's part of herself. And I love to see her like almost like rekindling the connection between our ancestor at the end, which was really nice. Even though the red panda was thought of as a negative by her family, it was great to see May accepting it as part of herself and using it. So at the end, when she said, "Oh yeah, I'm going to keep this red panda," and she's like jumping around the rooftops, changing into the red panda, changing back, and almost like hop jumping over the buildings. It's so cool to see her bring it as part of herself and like not be like terrified of it like she was at the start of the film. She is a red panda spirit almost, and it's lovely to see. It's nice to see the school kids embrace her panda and not immediately ostracize her like in other similar stories. Like in a lot of films when people, or especially kids, find out that this person is slightly different, they ostracize them, push them to the side, treat them like a witch, and like, oh, get away from me. But in this film, they love her red panda, and they all want like t-shirts, pictures, and they want to hug her because she's really soft. It was lovely to see, and I imagine it would be more like this in real life, hopefully, and people are more accepting. May and her friend's goal of wanting to do something and having to work hard to achieve it, everyone can relate to that somehow. So throughout the film, they want to go see this boy band called Four Town, and when they find out they can't like get their parents' support to go there, they realise we're going to have to do it ourselves. They basically use the red panda to raise the money to get all the tickets, which was about $800, and they all work together and try hard to do what they can to go there, and they end up going there in the end, which is really nice and shows that if you work together, you can get what you want in the end. While I'm not a fan of the mother, the boss fight between May and her in a giant like red panda form was great, and made even better with the cool different red panda designs. So we end up seeing like the mother who's got a really cool hair do in the red panda form, and then the grandmother and all the aunties of May all have slightly different designs and patterns on their red pandas, and I thought that was cool because they could have had all the like just like stripy designs and just all red the same, but they all had slightly different hairstyles and stuff, and I thought we made it stand out a bit more instead of copy and paste of the same design. It was nice to see Pixar mix things up more with the characters' facial expressions, their eyes, and the general body movement being a lot more emotive. Definitely some animation style inspirations, especially with a lot of the eye movements. Like they're very like glossy and like starlighty. It's very cool, and I love the inclusion of it because it makes Turning Red stand out a bit more from the other Pixar films. Overall, it's a good message about accepting yourself and not letting others, even family, dictate your life and control you, which I thought was nice. There's a nice balance you need to take with family and not being told, oh yeah, you have to act this way, this is how everyone's done it, it's the proper way. There's a nice balance a lot of people need to find in their lives, and May does that with her family. A couple of the negatives I thought was that May's mother was insufferable throughout the whole film, and never listening to May, putting May's feelings second, and just being overbearing as a parent, which thankfully I've never had. And luckily for May, she kind of works around it with her mother Ming, and it was just so annoying to watch her because she just doesn't listen to May. She basically just treats her like she needs to be at home all the time. Don't go near anyone, boys, her friends, like, don't go near anyone, and you'll be a perfect little girl. And May's like, I'm not perfect, I want to act like I want to. And it was just annoying to watch her as a part of the film. I get the relationship, but it was just annoying. And this is kind of just a personal negative. It was definitely not going to be for everyone. I love the film, but because of the strong and obvious real world comparisons, connected like a mother and daughter would to this film. Like, I get like the first period kind of pads. Like, I can understand like maybe a mother and daughter connected with that kind of experience and embarrassment. But like for me, it didn't really connect for me. It was like, oh, okay. Imagine it resonating with mothers and daughters a bit more. I love the film, but like stuff like that, it was just another part of the film, and their relationship I'd never really fully got invested in because obviously I'm not a mother or a daughter, so I can't really connect to it as much. But that's only a personal negative for me, which is obviously not going to be the same for everyone. But yeah, that's my thoughts on this film. I loved it. Turning Red is another great addition to the Pixar library, so if you love Pixar, animation, Disney overall, you're going to love this film. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe to keep up to date with future videos. Until next time, I will see you all later.